Arsenal will challenge Man City again next season. No one else is what Akash says. Are you feeling confident about that, Dan, and your summer? I mean, you're linked to the likes of Sesko, you're linked to lots of players. I know you must be feeling a little bit of pain having missed out on it the way you did, but are you confident that and I don't want to use words that upset Standard FC, but are you confident that you're going to go again, that you're going to come back stronger and push City and maybe this time go one step further?
Yeah, I'm confident we'll be up there again. My only concern is, are we going to get across the line? And there's two reasons for that. The first one is the manager going to be able to get us across the line? And the second one is Pep Guardiola ain't too bad, is he? So they're the two things that I look at. And I think that when you look at why we didn't this season, there is a number of reasons. It's not one. And some people like to say we didn't have the squad. That could be one. That could be one reason. I think when you look at the 13, 14 players that Arteta trusts, he needs to change that into a sort of 18, 19 man squad that he trusts, because I don't see much trust in Eddie Nketiah in the latter part of the season, or Reece Nelson, or Fabio Vieira. I certainly don't understand why Cedric Onyaneni was still there. We need to improve on those players, and we need to also add a couple of players that perhaps we don't have at all. Like, there's not really cover for Saliba. There's not really cover for Saka. There's really not cover for Ødegaard either, if I'm honest. And we're lucky that those players are durable, because if they weren't, we really would have struggled. I mean, Gabriel and Saliba have played every game this season pretty much. So we need some cover. We need a defender. We need to sort the midfield out. We need a number 9. I mean, I thought that was evident again at the weekend. How many chances did we have that we didn't put away? So for me, I certainly do think that there's some players there that are definitely needing for a good window. But Mikel Arteta also has made mistakes this season. I think he has made in-game management mistakes, and I think he's going to, because let's be real, he's not a novice now, but he's still learning, isn't he? He's still making mistakes. And I think the mistake or the decision, should I say, to drop Havertz back into midfield against Villa and Bayern is the reason we didn't win the league and the reason that we went out the Champions League. So people that do have doubts about Mikel Arteta, I can't back them up and say, no, it's not his fault, because he did do that. That's a fact. He dropped that and it went wrong. And we were flying. Everyone knew we were flying. The start of the season, we changed things. If you remember the first few games, he did a few crazy things. Didn't really cost us any of the points, but it was a bit of a weird thing. And then we were playing that kind of controlled football. It didn't get us across the line. So again, people will look at that and go, why did you do that? So there's definite question marks and concerns, of course. I'm not one that says get him out and get him gone now. I am willing to give him this other season. I think for him to take us to the last game of the season, we did go out to Bayern Munich, but it wasn't like we went out to Olympiacos or Villarreal or Sporting Lisbon like we did previously. Domestic cups, he's got to do better. I'm sorry. Next season for me, he has to challenge for the title again and win it for me. But also, if he doesn't win it, he's got to bring one of the cups home. Because, Ten Hag's done that. Poch has gone to a final this year. I mean, this guy's got to
Your fan base don't want to win these trophies, though, Dan. I'm being told all the time by Arsenal fans that, they've had enough of FA Cups. They've won enough FA Cups. And they get mocked by it. And the Carabao Cup's below them. They only want the Premier League or the Champions League. It's what I'm being told by Arsenal fans in chats.
Disgrace, bro. If that's true, that's a disgrace. We haven't won the League Cup for 30 years.
It's true. I won't lie to you, bro.
No, I know you wouldn't, but I'm just saying it is a disgrace, because 32 years without a League Cup, and everyone goes, oh, it's an energy drink cup. It's a League Cup that I grew up on, man. Ask George Graham what he thinks of the League Cup. Did he think it was an energy drink cup? Ask Paul Merson, ask Tony Adams, ask Martin Keown. Then you go to the FA Cup. 14 times we won it. Oh, we won it enough. That's it can't be our trophy by these fans and then go, but we don't want to win it anymore. It's our trophy, we don't want to win it anymore. Load of crap. Yeah, our European heritage is a disgrace at this club.
Yeah,
European heritage is a disgrace.
So that's one left.
Cup, one Europa, and one Cup Winners' Cup. Yeah,
exactly. So you're down to the Prem.
That's what I mean. So why is it that we just chuck trophies in the bin, man? It makes no sense to me. And that is the one thing I will look at this season, and I cannot defend. Now, I understand you can lose to Liverpool. It was unlucky. We got Liverpool last season. We got Man City. Very, very difficult games to get through in the FA Cup, right? That's why we went out both of them. The years before that, we lost to Southampton and Nottingham Forest. So, no excuses. The League Cup this season, we lost to West Ham. But we should be beating those teams.
Look at the team that he put out against West Ham.
Disgraceful. And and do you know what was weird? We went 3-0 down and he brought them all on. It was absolutely crazy. Like, for me, the game was lost anyway. So, listen, I do think that is where I will criticise Mikel Arteta. I can't sit there and say, get the guy out. He's a disgrace. Rah, rah, rah. He's taken us, the stats do not lie what we've done in terms of the goals we've scored, the conceded. Everyone knows it. Everyone's seen it. A lot of Arsenal fans are talking about it. But I want to win a trophy, man. And for me, next season, got to do it.
Yeah, I think the criticism that you've mentioned is absolutely fair. I think that, and I think all of that can be addressed by a good summer in the window. So we don't need to. I mean, right now you're linked to 3 or 4 strikers. Let's say it's Cisco or Eucharist or Isak. If you bring in a Frankie de Jong or Bruno Guimaraes, you improve that defense a bit more. You had players like that in there. What I think that enables you to do is start the season off in that controlled manner again, but you just have better quality to finish those games off. It means you're stronger in rotation for those cup competitions, and you're strong enough. You're as strong, if not a little bit stronger, when it comes to the second half of the season where you kick into another level. I think you got the timings of everything right this year. So in terms of starting off a little bit slower, a bit more controlled, saving energy for the rest of the season, that element was perfect. It was just your overarching quality in the squad. When you're bringing on Nketiahs and El Nenis and Reece Nelsons to win you these games because the players on the pitch are now knackered because they've tried so hard, it's not there. That's the difference between you and City. First 11s v each other, there isn't much between you anymore. We see that in the results. We've seen that in the way the games play out. Very close. The difference is City's squad is superior. So that's what needs to improve. I don't think you need to throw baby out with the bathwater and make huge overhauls. It's about having a stellar summer. So if, I don't know who you get at the back, let's just say you get a decent, you sign like a Todibo, I'm just throwing his name in there as an example. If you then were to add Frankie de Jong, Alexander Isak, and Elise, so you added those four players to your squad, maybe promoted 1 or 2 other youngsters, then I look at your team and go, Jesus, you've got prolific goal scorers in there now. There's some of the challenge Saka. There is no excuse then. There's still maybe an excuse to not win the league. City might do 100 points again next year, right? Then there's an excuse. You get 95 points. You're not a bad team. But there's no excuse then to not go for the other competitions. I still think if you were to sit Klopp down the deep, dark room and say, do you regret those teams you put out in those first 4, 5, 6 years in the FA Cup and the League Cups? I bet a part of him does. Because if he had another couple league cups, another FA Cup or 2, suddenly his trophy haul's good in his time there. But what is it? 5 trophies won in 5 trophies won in England in that time. That was 7, 8, 9, 10. It's a very different looking CV, and it's really important. And equally, if you don't win the league next year, but you won the FA Cup and League Cup, got to the semi-finals of the Champions League, I think it buys him more time with people because there is genuine success then merged into it. So again, I don't believe in the idiotic takes of sack him now, the world's a disaster. I've seen some Arsenal fans that are so angry at the minute. I just think it's almost like a first world problem. I almost look at it as like, there's no reason to be that angry. Equally, there are some that are just, no, we just stick with Arteta no matter what happens. That's equally as mental to me.
He does need to win, though. He does need to win something.
He does need to win. He does need to start winning. 100%. I agree.
This is where you're right. This is where Arteta's, in my opinion, gone wrong. He's not targeted these domestic cups. And I think that's a real mistake. Because at the end of the day, Arsenal have never won the Champions League in the history anyway. Yeah. And winning the Champions League is extremely difficult. Yeah. As Arsenal have found, as City have found. United have only won 3. Yeah. It's extremely difficult to win Champions Leagues.
If anyone won.
Can I ask you, LB?
No, but I'm just saying, like...
No, I hear you. No, I do hear you, mate.
Can I ask you, LB? Can I ask you, LB? Because yes, when you joined late yesterday, we were talking about it, so I didn't get your opinion on it. But I ask you, what would you do now? If you were an Arsenal fan, what would you want to see happen now, in terms of now? And after next season, if he's trophyless again, what do you think should happen?
If he's trophyless next season, I think you should sack him.
But you'd keep him now for another season.
I'd personally give him 1 more year.
Okay.
But he's got to win silverware, man. Like, Arsenal have a good team. That's the reason why people talk about this whole Arteta thing. It's not because they don't like Arteta or whatever. It's because Arsenal are a good team. Look at the team. They've got a great team. Saliba, Gabriel. That's my centre-back partnership. Rice, great signing. Havertz has done a madness. Saka, look at the goals and assists. They've got a good team. And no doubt you're going to strengthen this summer as well. You'll probably spend another 200 million. Going to get even better. Like, the reason why this conversation is had is because you've got a good team. You've not won anything. And this is where he would have got... And to be fair, you could say he's brought it on himself. Because had he won a couple of FA Cups in the last couple of years, people would be like, oh, we're winning stuff and we're getting better and better. So this year, you've got more points than you had last year. You got more wins than you had last year. If you would have won the FA Cup or won the League Cup, people would have said, okay, we've improved in the league, we've improved because we've got more points, and we won a cup. That's progress. But people are just looking at it. Some people are looking at it going, well, we've improved in the league, still not won anything, and we didn't win anything else.
Yeah.
So I personally would give him one more year. But he's got to win. Arsenal are a good team.
He has got to win, and that's what it comes down. And people said, Terry, you said that last year. I did, but I said it with context. Where I said, well, you've got to, and I still apply the same context. You've got to look at what happens and where they're at. But every year, there's less and less room for maneuver, in my personal opinion. And he has to win something this year. There is no shadow of a doubt, and it starts by having a very good summer and improving that squad further. This year says Arsenal's owners are
Terry, just quickly, some of the people in the chat are probably going to be fainting because LB said something nice about Arsenal. I just wanted to point that
out. Arsenal's owners are a problem. They are happy with drifting close to the top for Arsenal with minimal effort, but she'll out the money of their other teams. I mean, Arsenal's owners have sanctioned a lot of spending. I think Josh Kroenke has come out and said they're going to go for it. I don't think right now you can really be on the... I'll say this, right? If Arsenal fans want to help their club more, if you can afford it, spend more money and give your club more money directly if you can. The difference between Arsenal and Man City at the moment is City spend almost as much on salary, wages and bonuses as Arsenal turnover and income. So your club needs to increase its revenues. It will do that by being successful, but it will also do that by more of you guys investing your money and quote unquote supporting your club.
Yeah, but the problem you got with that, Terry, is then that then allows the owners to go, we haven't even won anything yet. And look at them, they're buzzing, they're happy.
True.
So you've got to be careful with that, man, because I want to be on the owner's neck to say we haven't got across the line yet.
Well, you just do this thing. You say we are going to spend more money, but if you don't go out and keep buying us really good players, we'll all pull the money away and make it all collapse. Like you can just do it both ways, really. Like that's how it should. I mean, you should treat your club. I mean, the thing is, if you hadn't got your hair cut and they ruined it, would you go back?
No.
Like to a degree, I know you don't want to be treated like a customer at your own football club, but you are to a certain degree. You give up your season ticket, they're not ringing you up, they're giving it to somebody else, right? You've almost got to have that attitude back to a degree. Give us what we want. The problem is with some fans is they don't know when the right time is to ask. There are some Man United fans that want us to go out this summer and try and sign Vinicius Jr. And they don't understand that that's not plausible with where we are. But in 4 or 5 years' time, we're a brilliant team by then, all the money in the world, playing world, challenging or winning, then, go out and buy one of the best players in the world. Then you would expect that type of thing. This here says, this is a weird one. It says the embassy in the UAE is refusing, the British embassy that is refusing to disclose the 115 charges because it could risk investment relationship with the UAE. Football and politics, your thought. That isn't quite right what you've said. All that's been stated, and I've actually drafted a video on this already, is that the embassy, British consulates have had conversations with their counterparts in the UAE about the charges. There has been no confirmation that anything to do with UK investment has been mentioned at all. That is a conspiracy theory at present. Could be true, but it's a conspiracy theory at present that's been created by people that want to see City in trouble. So I'm going to be very fair on that and state that of course they've had conversations about it. Why would they not have conversations? Why would they not mention it in their conversations? That doesn't mean that they're doing a deal where the Premier League is going to let them off if they were indeed guilty. So I thought I'd just...
Well, the Premier League wouldn't have charged us in the first place. You know what I mean? If that was the case. So...
Yeah, exactly. Shawshank end scene, Klopp building a boat and Pep walking down the beach. It's obvious. It's a great scene, that. It's a great scene,
film.
That. Great film.
My favorite film.
Do you want to know facts about that film?
Go on.
It was rejected by all cinemas for cinema release and went straight to video.
Yeah, it bombed out, didn't it?
I mean, it didn't even get in them to bomb out. And now it ranked as the greatest movie of all time. It's phenomenal.
Which it is.
I mean, it's there. I mean, that or Barbie, but for me, but yeah, up there. I'm joking. Pep wouldn't cut it for England. He needs too much time on the training pitch to implement his ideas.
What rubbish. Absolute rubbish, that is.
Yeah.
That is absolute rubbish. Surely that's a wind-up. That's got to be a troll, surely.
It can't be. You can't believe that, my friend. I think there's still a level to go for Pep and City. They haven't dominated Europe like Liverpool. I would cast them as the best English team yet. It's an interesting one because it's probably the easiest time in my lifetime anyway to dominate Europe because there's only really 2 or 3 teams that could conceivably win it. Not like in the 90s where there were 7 or 8 teams every season. So, I mean, they've done well, though, City. Finals, semi-finals.
We just keep on coming up against Real Madrid. That's the problem.
And they're better. And they're better in Europe.
They just know how to win that competition, man. They're a joke.
Crazy.
Hence the amount that they've won.
Absolutely.